Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Shout out to all the subscribers. Big up to anybody new. Gratitude to you. So Caleb Plant has announced his fight comeback, which is against Trevor Mccumby. Now, Trevor Mccumby, about, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, did a post, I think it was on Instagram, and he called out to Caleb Plant, but he also called out a lot of fighters in boxing and was trying to make boxing great again. And he went on a little mini rant, I guess, if you can call it a rant, but I kind of respected it, you know, because he's putting a lot of boxers on notice.
I am sick of this modern day boxing culture. Oh, he didn't deserve to fight me. Oh, he hasn't fought anybody. I'm 28-0 with 21 knockouts. 7-time national champion, ranked number 10 in the WBA. I've been ranked at all 4 organizations for a very long time now. Let's make boxing like it used to be, and let's fight. Caleb Plant, you took those 2 big fights, and I respect that. Let's make a big fight. Edgar Berlanga and Billy, I'll take any of you guys. Let's make boxing great again. I don't need a 12-week camp. I don't roll around and disrespect the sport. I stay ready.
And he called out Caleb Plant, and Plant responded and said, okay. And now it looks like they're getting the fight done. So August 17th, I think this is in Orlando. Now, many of you, including me, would be like, who's Trevor Mccumby? Now, I'll put his record up on the screen. He's undefeated. Now, he looks like he can punch a little bit. I've looked down his box rec quickly. Obviously, he doesn't have a notable win under his belt, and I haven't personally seen him fight. And people might be, you know, poo-pooing the fight a little bit. But if you think about from Caleb Plant's perspective, right, he's probably had, in fact, I'd say definitely, had the toughest schedule in the 168-pound division, right? Now, David Benavidez probably would have if he'd got the fights he wanted, especially against Canelo, because he obviously fought and beat Plant. And you could say, well, Plant lost both those fights. That's fine. He still was competitive in them and still has had the toughest schedule. And actually, this is really important because in an era where, you know, taking an L is seen so bad and it's so damaging, like Plant's stock has, if anything, risen, you know? From when he lost to Canelo, and I said this at the time, I was like, that's one of those losses where your stock will be just fine. If anything, it went up a little bit because of how you fight. Obviously, the numbers did well against Canelo because, you know, it was an interesting fight. It was a good fight. It was a unification, but obviously the scuffle that they had pre-fight definitely helped. That's why, you know, promoters love that kind of thing. It definitely helps. Right before the fight, when hands are thrown, or you know, there's a real beef or real physical touch up, then that can help. But against Benavidez, he put up on one hell of a fight and he fought his heart out. You know, I picked Benavidez to win in a late stoppage, but I was going back and forth. I was like, oh. First I had Plant winning on points by outboxing him, but then I was like, I don't know if he's going to make it out the back end. He did make it out the back end, and he fought out of his skin, really. He really fought his heart out. And if you look at his eyes in one of those rounds, I think it's the 10th, where he's just going like this and he's fighting for his life.
Percent connect percentage. He also rose to the occasion. Down the stretch we go. Look at Plant, my goodness. He is leaving it all in the ring. The Mexican monster.
And I've got so much respect for that. And that is how you raise your stock from losing, I think, personally. So I've always been a fan of Caleb Plant, you know what I mean? I've loved his style. His lead hand is elite. And I'm not just talking about jab, I'm talking about how he operates with his lead hand. I'll pull up some clips from, I'll try and find the sparring clip that I've watched before. In fact, I will, because I used it in one of the first fight breakdown videos I did against Canelo. And then I'll also pull up a clip in the fight where he can shoot that lead hand off so spectacularly. It's quite remarkable, actually. You know, he's got a very good jab, but his left hook is pretty killer. But his left hook to the body, but his ability to shoot that shot, like multiple shots in, like, you know, the space of a few seconds.
Caleb Plant in round number 2. Lennox able to throw with length and pop as well against Feigenbutz.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Feigenbutz showed good defense, but Caleb was able to get through with some straight, accurate punches.
Notices that, and he goes in for this flurry right here. Here's the last flurry. It was a little uppercut hook. See, he threads the needle, then he goes around.
He obviously practices it. He's extremely strong. He's extremely well prepared. He doesn't, do all the partying and nonsense stuff like that. He keeps himself prepared all year round. And he's a constant professional, and I've got an absolute gigantic amount of respect for that. And he wants all the smoke as well. Plant does not take any BS, he's obviously mixed it up, and he doesn't take any BS. And you can't but respect that, And again, he said recently as well in a statement he wants to be a world champion again. Whether that be fighting Canelo again, which actually, to be honest, would be a pretty good rematch. Given who's actually at 168 and who Canelo's talking about fighting, the Plant rematch for me is actually one of the better fights. Obviously the Benavidez fight, but let's be honest, Canelo doesn't want to fight Benavidez. Let's just be honest. But the Plant rematch, should Plant come through this, which I fully expect him to completely dominate Mccumby, even though I haven't really seen him fight. I've seen a few clips here and there and of him training, so I don't want to be too naive about him and too disrespectful, but Plant's a high-level operator, he's got a tremendous body of work and he's a tremendous fighter. So I'm just basing off of that, really. But Plant has, said if he doesn't get the Canelo rematch and Canelo, does vacate the belts, or finally, he's holding those belts hostage, really. If one of those belts comes free, Plant wants one of those belts, and he's always got the desire to be the best version of himself, which is why I love that, and that's a big ethos of this channel. Whatever you do, just try to be the best version of yourself whilst doing it. So yeah, I'm not going to poo-poo the fight, to be honest with you, because sometimes you deserve the fights he's had. Like the guy has a following, Mccumby, in Orlando, apparently. I was watching the Boxing Voice, and he was saying that he called out Belenga as well. That's Mccumby. I think I'll put it in the clip on that video, but he called out Plant. Plant said okay, so they're gonna fight. I've got no issues with it. I don't really like, if you really poo-poo fights, yes, don't watch it. At the end of the day, I'm not saying it's a great fight, by the way. I'm just saying I understand it. So maybe it's a stay busy fight, maybe not, but it is what it is. So I'll probably be tuned in. I'm not gonna lie. I probably will be tuned in. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. I'm out of here.
Boxing.
On it.